are you wondering what am I having? So it's a beautiful explosion box which I did, and it is a 3-layered explosion box, and it has some really nice flaps and a small cute little box where you can keep a piece of chocolate, and it's a wonderful gift. And let's start making this today. So here I have this beautiful pattern paper. I've decided to use this purple color cardstock, and now I need to score, mark and start working on it. So first I am going to start with my scrapbook explosion box base. So here's my scoreboard. I'm just going to divide it into 3 equal parts, and for that I'm going to so like this page, this cardstock is of 12 inches by 12 inches, and I'm going to divide it into 3 equal parts. That's 3 inches, 4 inches, 4 inches and 4 inches. I'm going to mark it at 4 inches, 8 inches. I'll turn it around, and then again 4 inches and 8 inches. Now my folds are ready. I need to decide whether I'm going to cut this or fold this. That I can decide later on. Next I'm going to make this as a 2-layer explosion box. So for that I'm going to score this second paper also. Now my base size of my explosion box is going to be 4 inches by 4 inches. Now I need to make sure that the second layer is smaller in size. So now for the second layer I want to make for 3 inches by 3 inches. So I'm going to score at 3 and 6, and I'm just going to mark my 9 inches, and this is the remaining area. I'll turn it around, and again I need to score at 3 inches, 6 inches and 9 inches. So if you see, this is my second layer. So this is my second layer, and the size of this one is 3 inches by 3 inches by 3 inches. Now it's time to start cutting the layers, but before that I thought, why not to make it a 3-layer card, and I am going to score this as 2 inches, 2 inches and 2 inches. So for this again I need 2, 4, 6. Now again I'm going to turn it around and this will be 2, 4, 6, and now I need to start cutting this. Making explosion box is super easy. You just need to have the control and the measurement and the dimension idea, and then it's really easy to make any size explosion box. And once you know the trick of the explosion box, you can do n number of size of detailing and cutting work. Now as this is really small, I don't need to have my trimmer for this, so I'll just cut it with my scissor. So this is my inner layer. This is my second layer, which is of 3 inches by 3 inches. And this is my final base sheet. Okay, so now what I have decided is that for my base sheet I'm not going to cut these flaps. Okay, I am just going to make one cut so that I can fold this. Now if you see, I can fold it like this, and this becomes my one flap. Now in the same way I'm going to cut. Okay, yeah, so here now it's time to cut this one. It's going to fold this way. Now I'll be cutting this one. It's going to come here, and it's time to cut the last flap. And it's going to come here. So this is my base flap, and I'm just going to fold it backside so that I have a very nice and good crease over here. Now I'm going to make sure that I fold this really well and just try to make a box out of it, so that if there is any extra paper like while cutting, so I can do the trimming of work. This was not folding properly, so it had some extra paper. I have trimmed that and now it's perfect. Now this is the third and this one is fourth. Even this also has some extra paper. This happens when you do some fussy cutting work, but then that's absolutely fine. You can always work out on these things, the small detailings, and this is going to be my base. Now it's time to prep up for the second one, and now for the second one I am going to use my scissor and I'm going to trim off these portions. I just want them to be a plain flap. I don't want any pockets or anything, so I'm going to trim off these edges. This is super easy. If you get confused, you can always mark it with a pencil that which area you need to cut, and it becomes easy for you to understand, and while cutting you can do it fast. Now in the explosion box you have so many variations, where you have heart shapes, you have triangle shapes, you have hexagonal shapes and different forms, and it's just learning the basic technique, and then you can do all sorts of experiments with your explosion box. So now this is my second layer, which is ready, and now it's time for the third layer. Now for the third layer I am going to cut this portion all the four sides, because I am thinking of using some punch for this. So let me see how it works out. Okay, so here I'm done with my 3 layers of my explosion box, and now it's time to start with my pattern paper. So here is my trimmer, and here's my pattern paper, and here are my box base. So I'm going to start with the bigger one. So for this I will be needing 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 sides, plus I just want to do the random sticking here. So 4 this side and 4 this side, so it will be 8 4 by 4, a little smaller than 4 by 4 paper cutouts, 8 sheets for this. So what I am going to do is, so I will be cutting this a little smaller than my 4-inch. So if I can just show you the marking. So this is my marking in centimeters. I've marked it with my marker. It's not visible, but yes, I can do the cutting work. So I'm going to keep my cuttings a little smaller than 4 inches. So I'm going to go ahead with 9.5 centimeters. I'm going to cut it very nicely with the same size. 1 2 3. So I'm going to keep all these scraps with me, because you never know, maybe I can need this during this project. So I have this 3 paper, nine by 5. I'll take 2 papers and I'll cut them together so that I have. So here I have 3 4 5 6, 7 and 8. So here are the 2 pieces. I just need to cut these extra pieces here. So here are my 8 sheets for the first layer of my scrapbook. Now it's time to start with the second one, and for the second one the base size is 3 inches by 3 inches, so definitely I'm going to take the smaller one. So for 3 inches I'm going to go ahead with approximately 7.5, and for this one I will be needing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I'm going to stick all the 4 with the pattern paper. So I need 8 strips. So I am just going to make sure that I have the exact same size, and then I am going to trim this. Now this is going to be smaller than 3 by 3 so that I can see the border. Now the reason why I'm going for a smaller size paper, so that I can see the border of my cardstock, and that looks really good, and I like it. I like having borders of my cardstock, explosion boxes, scrapbooks. They look really fab if you have a really nice border. It's 2, 4, 6 and 8. I am going to keep all these scraps with me. Okay, so this is the layers of my second one, and for the fourth one I am planning to do some stamping, and maybe I can use these scraps, so I'll keep this aside. I'll not do any pattern paper cutting work for this. Now it's time to stick my papers to my cardstock base, and for that I'm going to use my liquid adhesive. I'm going to keep this smaller, the third layer, aside because I really don't know what I'm going to do with that right now. So I'll start sticking with my flaps. So these are actually going to close like this. So what I'm going to do is I am going to have all my pattern papers on this inner surface, so that these are going to be visible when I keep my box like this. These are going to be the front flaps, so I'm going to stick my papers on the front flaps right now. You can use your tacky tape, you can use any of your adhesive and with which you are comfortable. I love using my liquid adhesive for explosion box and my tacky tape for my scrapbooks. So I'm going to use my liquid adhesive here. You don't need to be really particular about how it is going to stick or how it is going to be, because once they stick they look beautiful, because anyways we do lots of photo sticking, embellishment work and all the detailing, so they anyways look so fab. And I think that's the best part of your explosion box. I have done so many explosions box, and I have even done the boxes which can have at least 60 to 80 pictures, and they look fab. The detailing looks fab. You can even check that on my YouTube channel, where you can see all the detailing and the beautiful projects of explosion boxes which I have done, and I really adore them. I even made a explosion box which was as good as in a scrapbook with loads of pictures, and I was really happy with the way my client reacted, and they were like super happy, and it made my day. It actually makes your day when your client appreciates your work. And the best part is now I'm still in touch. It's been more than 3-4 years that I did that work for her. I'm still in touch with that lady, and she is still in awe stuck with that explosion box, and that always makes my day whenever we have a chat or I talk to her. So here my inner layers are done. I'm just going to give it a little press, and now I am going to start sticking the back side. Now on the back side, I am going to first start with these flaps, these corners, because these are going to be the more visible portion. Now I am doing this just to make you realize that you don't need to stick papers on all the sides, you don't need to stick the papers on complete explosion box. You can do lots of experiment. Yes, I have already cut the papers, but then that doesn't mean that I have to stick it, because even like without sticking the pattern paper, you can do stamping, you can do some stencil work, and then you can use that on your project and they look fab. So yes, I am done with the two sides. And the third one. Now whenever you're using your liquid adhesive, please make sure that you press it really well so that it sticks well, because with the tacky tape, once it has stick down, it's done. But liquid adhesive takes a little time to dry out, so you need to make sure that you have pressed it properly. And now it's done. Yeah. And it's done. So when you close your album, this explosion box album, it is going to look like this from inner side and from the outer side. Now if you want to stick the flaps with the papers, it's completely optional, it's completely up to you. So now here what I have decided is that I am going to chuck these areas and I'm going to stick my papers here, so that when I open my explosion box, this looks full and complete. Okay, so now this is what I have done with the inner pages, and now it's time to move on to the second layer. Now for the second layer, I have already cut these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 sheets. So I'm going to have it on all 4 sides of my explosion box. Now a easy tip, whenever you're doing the sticking work, do not add the adhesive on the base if you're a crafter like me who likes border, because you at times while cutting the paper, we are not sure if it has cut to the exact size or not, and just to check that, just to have a little look over on that, you can add adhesive on your paper so that when you stick, you can adjust that. Here I'm done with my sticking work. Now it's time to move on to the next layer. my 2 layers are ready. I'm done with this, and I thought why not to do something different for the third one. And I got this new punch very recently, and I thought I'll try this out. So this is a tag punch, and I need to put this completely inside, but as my tag has a flap, the side flaps, so maybe I need to fold it down, put it inside, and when it's done I'm just going to give it a nice punch, and I have my inner tags and it's looking nice. Now I'll do it on the second flap. Now as you can see, I'm not able to see this one, and I don't want to fold it again and again. I'm just aligning it with this line so it becomes super easy. This is my second. Third. And now for the fourth one. Okay, so now my inner flap is ready. Keep this aside, and this is looking fab. Now it's time to assemble this, and before that I want to start and now it's time to assemble this, and for this I'm going to use my liquid adhesive only, and I'm going to start sticking this. Now I just wanted to check if I can stick my box like this. I don't think so. Yeah, so now it's time to assemble my box, and I'm going to use my liquid adhesive only for this, and I need to put a nice layer of liquid adhesive, and I need to stick it at the center, approximately center of my box, and I just need to make sure that this is a quite good square, and it is. And now I'll stick this, and for this one now I had these remaining strips from my pattern paper, and I'm going to use this on my third layer. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to make a nice line with my adhesive. I'll stick my paper, and I'm going to cut the excessive. So here my inner border is ready, and I'm going to repeat the same process for all the 4 sides. And like I said, this is completely optional. It depends on what kind of detailing you want on your pages, and what kind of work you want to have on your explosion box, and then accordingly you can plan it. So here is my second layer. Now for the third flap, maybe I can stick this here. I can spread this a little bit. And now for the fourth flap. So here my 4 flaps are ready. So this is how it is going to be. So this is how my box is going to be, and now it's time to start making the cover. Now for the cover, I am going to need a paper bigger size than 4 inches by 4 inches. The reason why I need a bigger size, because this box size is 4 inches, and this comes with the kind of scoring in the cutting work we have done. So I need a box size, the cover size a little bigger than 4 by 4. So I just thought, why not to keep 1 inches margin or 1.5 inch margin for this one, and let me decide and I will be back. So here what I've decided is that I am going to have my cover of almost the size of my box, so I need to now score it accordingly. Now as you know that my box size is 4 by 4, so I need to make sure that the cover, the lid of my explosion box has to be a little bigger. So what I am going to do is I'm just going to mark it with my scoring tool, the center portion, and then I'm going to have 1, 2, 2.25 here, 1, 2, 2.25 here. So this is my base size. Now I'm going to turn it around. Again I'm going to just have a bit of scoring, then 1, 2, 2, 1, 2, 2.25 scoring here, and 1, 2, 2.25 scoring here. Now this is going to be my center lid size, and now I need to do the cutting work and the sticking work. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to mark ½ inch here, just an approx ½ inch here. I'll turn it around, ½ inch here, ½ inch here. Now this is just the margin for my border so that I can stick my box cover. ½ inch here. Here I already have. So now I just need to do the cutting work and the sticking work for my lid. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this along one of the borders which I have scored, and I'm going to cut this extra paper. I'll show you once I'm done with all the cutting work that how I'm going to fix up my lid. So I have done this cutting also. I'll repeat the same process for all the 4 flaps. You don't need any particular size for this border. You just need to make sure that your flap sticks properly. That's the most important thing. And this is third portion. I'm done with the flap, and now the last portion. So here I'm done with my flap for my cap, and I'm just going to fold this. And making cap is super easy. You just need to fold it and you need to stick this. I have my liquid adhesive here, and I'm going to stick this to my box. I'm going to make sure that I spread my liquid adhesive very well here, because this is something very important while making your boxes. First I'm going to put my liquid adhesive on all the sides. I could have used my tacky tape, but then I thought if I'm doing this one with the liquid adhesive, let me complete this project with that. I really don't find any major difference when you're using your Fevicol and tacky tape, especially for the explosion boxes, because they last equally. What happens with this scrapbook is that you are unable to press it so hard, so it becomes a little difficult for liquid adhesive to stick properly, and then you end up having your loose ends. But with the explosion box, the size is smaller, so it is pretty easy. I'm going to stick all these flaps here, and I'm just going to press it really well once I'm done with all the folding and sticking. Now I'm going to take my scale, and I'm going to press it really well on the edges. I'll repeat the same for all the 4 sides, and this will actually help in sticking your papers really well. Third, and this is the 4th side. I just need to press it once, and maybe I can repeat this process just to make sure that it sticks well. And I'm just going to press it like this. So here my box cover is done. This beautiful stamp, and I'm going to use this one on my explosion box and its lid, and I'm going to use my dye based ink pad here. I just need to do some random stamping. I'm not at all particular, because as it's in scripted stamp, I don't want this to have any particular pattern, because I don't know that how I'm going to stick my pictures, or later on how my client is going to have some details, the journaling or anything here. So I'm just going to do my random stamping and fill up the spaces. I love using stamping on even my Mixpedia projects also, because they are the best fillers, and with one stamp you can do so many projects, and you can always check the varieties of ink pads you get in the market, and then you can work it accordingly. I'll do some stamping on my tags, and I'm super happy with the way it has turned out. I'll do some filling stamping here also. So now can you see these empty spaces? I just thought I'll do some random stamping here and there to fill it a little more. So here it is. So now what I need to do is I need to even cover up these spaces. It's completely optional. It's completely like your choice. If you want, you can. Otherwise, you can leave it empty also. But I love having my stamping or the pattern paper on all the flaps, because they, like I said, they make your pages look fuller, and I really like that. So here I'm going to make sure that I stamp it in one particular side. Now here on these sides I could not do the random stamping, because this is going to be the vertical portion when I open or when I close my flap. So I need to make sure that this is stamped in one particular direction, and with this my base is ready. Now I'm going to do the same stamping on my lid, and now for the lid what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take my stamp, have my hands beneath that, and I'm just going to do some stamping work here. You don't have to be very particular about this stamp. You just need to do some random stamping. You can even do some motif stamping work. You can have some really nice pattern paper here. You can decorate this with your laces or your cards, tags, and they look amazing. So here my box is done, and now it's time to add something to my tags here. Let me get back with something twine or something special. And I thought, let me add a nice thread to it. So what I'm going to do is, this tag looks fab. I will be adding this twine just to make it like a small box where you can have a small chocolate, and it is going to be tempting for the one whomsoever you gift them, and I'm sure they will love this. I'll just give it a small knot with a cute little bow, and you can have a cute little chocolate inside and the yum chocolate, and I'll just have a small tag. So I had this cute little fabric lace kind of thing, and I thought this really matches well with my box shade. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to stick this on my box top, and this is going to be my decorative piece. I'm not adding any sentiment to my project right now because I have not decided on what particular occasion I will be using it. So I'm just going to stick this randomly here as a bow, and for that I'm going to use my heat gun. So first I need to stick this flower, and once I'm done with this sticking, I'm just going to put some dots here and there, and then I'm going to stick it on the top of my box. And here my beautiful explosion box is ready, and this is how it looks when you open it. So I hope you all enjoyed this tutorial, and I hope you all going to make something special for you and your loved ones very soon. And I'm listing all the supplies down in the description box. Do check that, and if you have any queries, please do comment below. I'll be more than happy to help you guys. Thank you so much for watching. Bye bye.